are one of the most popular programs for local government in the state. Originally, my dates may be a little off for those who want to quote me, I believe it originally started in 1987 with a bond issue that was put to the people. It was renewed, I believe, in 1995. We're coming in to the season that we're going to continue this public works program, which essentially provides money for local infrastructure projects, for water, for sewers, for roads, for bridges, things that go by district to local governments all across the state. We need to ask Ohioans to consider renewing. And in my conversations with Director King, he believes we're in a good position to do that because of the steady financial leadership of this governor and the conservative principles in the House and the Senate. We've been able to keep our debt service not at the 5% debt cap, but below 4%. And that gives us the fiscal capacity to continue to invest in long-term infrastructure. Because as a fiscal conservative, I'll be the first one to tell you, you should never use debt to pay for ongoing expenses. It is okay if you're going to do capital infrastructure to fund that with a longer-term repayment, because the people who are benefiting in the future are also the ones who are going to help pay those costs. And this public works program that will be introduced today in a bill sponsored by Kevin Bacon and Gail Manning, a resolution that will ask Ohio voters in the May election to approve a continuation of the public works program, not at the $150 million level that it currently is, but at $175 million for the first 5 years, and then $200 million for the second 5 years. He is fully fundable and still keeps us at that very low debt ratio.
That's good news, folks.
That's a good thing. You want to know how good news that is? Go home and talk to your county engineers. Go home and talk to your township trustees. Go home and talk to your city council. Go home and talk to your economic development directors locally about what this needs to build the infrastructure that will help generate support for the next generation of jobs. Now, as part of this program, Director King has also assured me that we have the ability to continue to invest in our state parks and our other natural resources. And so we're looking as part of the capital budget coming forward to set forth a 10-year, $50 million a year target to invest in park infrastructure and to do our necessary maintenance and things we need to do to bring our parks and our other state infrastructure up to par. Again, all of this can be done within our existing bond structure, in large part because we have been good fiscal managers. Now, I'm going to leave some stuff for the other leaders to talk about what we're doing in the future. But I want to point out one thing. When I talked to some media folks yesterday, they asked me the question, Ohio seems to hit a slump. They forgot that the journal that ranks states for convenience to do business rated Ohio as the #1 most improved state to do business in. I'm pretty proud of that. It's because of the things we've done in tax reform. It's the leadership of the governor. And let's not forget Mary Taylor. It's the leadership of Mary Taylor of the CSI, the Common Sense Initiative. Those who have been working with me over the years know that regulatory reform was something that I believe very strongly. It's not sexy like tax cuts, but as a business person, your chamber members get it. Government can do almost as much damage with burdensome, unnecessary regulations as it can do with high taxes. And the CSI is making a difference, Mary. Thanks for your leadership in that. Thanks for your work. One of those numbers, and I'm digressing a little bit, that impresses me when I'm out talking to folks is the number of new regulatory filings by our state agencies. You know, those people that are organizations that are run by all these cabinet directors here are down by 46%. That tells us that that's a priority for this governor and this administration to make sure small businesses and large businesses are complying, but that compliance is done in a way that makes economic sense and is done at the least possible burden. That's important for Ohio's future. Getting back to Ohio's future for a second. All of the things we've done in Ohio are moving us in the right direction. But we're starting to continue to hit headwinds. And I will blame, in large part, the dysfunction that is D.C. for part of those headwinds. One of the joys I've had as being Senate President is to go around the state and talk to business leaders. To have roundtables with 15 or 20 of them, and a number of your chamber organizations in your communities have helped host those for me. And I really appreciate you doing that. But for those chamber leaders who have been in those meetings, what are we hearing? We're hearing businesses are concerned about the economic headwinds that are coming from D.C., the headwinds that are generated by Obamacare, the uncertainty that's generated by government shutdowns, and the uncertainty that comes from the ever-marching $17 trillion plus national debt. The reality is, I believe the national debt is a moral issue for all of us as Americans and for all of us as business people. Why do I say that? I started out by talking about making sure Ohio is a good place for my family and my first grader and third grader to call home. So as the governor says, I don't have to get on an airplane to go see my grandkids. That future is not going to be possible for them to have the same quality standard of life if we continue to ignore this marching debt that now for every American taxpayer exceeds $150,000. $150,000. Who in here wants to write their check today to send that to the federal government to pay off their share of the debt? I don't see a lot of volunteers. That's why with the governor and the speaker, the House and the Senate have sent a strong message to our friends in Washington. Please get your house in order. Please pass a constitutional, balanced budget amendment to start operating like all the states do. By the way, 49 states require a balanced budget amendment. It's time for them to step up to the plate and do their jobs. Now, in that effort, we're going to ask for your help. And I'm asking all of you to help us send the message. I'm going to give you a website. Now, I've asked permission from the chamber, and we will send you a little video that talks about this marching balanced budget issue and the debt problem. We'll send it out to your emails. It will be on the chamber website. But here's the web address. I want you to all go out and sign the petition to demand Congress to do the right thing. It's ohiosenate.gov/BBA, Balanced Budget Amendment, BBA. ohiosenate.gov/BBA. Now we're going to try and send you a little email link that I ask you to send out to your members, send out to your friends, send out to your family, and get them to go sign the petition. This is an issue that's generational. It's time for us to lead as the Constitution allows and get the federal government hopefully to follow. With that, I want to introduce my good friend, Speaker Batchelder.